Welcome to Born for the Trades, a home service podcast. I'm your host, Mandy Pala, sitting virtually next to my co-host, Shreya.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for listening.
Our guest today is a great friend, Jody Underhill. He's an internet marketing and recruiting strategist who helps organizations leverage social media to increase profits and attract top talent. With a background as an executive director with a Fortune 250 company, Jody has developed a unique recruiting process for the home service industry. As CEO of RapidHirePro.com, he has grown the business to work with over 100 home service companies in just 12 months. Join us as Jody shares his insights on integrating internet marketing into your overall business goals.
Join us as we dive deep into the world of home service entrepreneurship, interacting with industry leaders, coaches, and entrepreneurs about their experiences, challenges, and victories. Through their inspiring stories, we hope to equip our listeners with the tools and knowledge they need to succeed in the competitive home service industry. So whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, tune in to Born for the Trades podcast for invaluable insight and real-world inspiration.
Welcome, Jody, to our show.
Welcome,
Thanks, Mandy.
Jody.
Thanks, Shreya. Glad to be here.
And most importantly, he's a great friend and just a genuine person, in the industry that we've gotten experience with. So I just wanted to add that little sweet note in there too.
Absolutely. Any advice, I rely on Jody. I text him and, hey, Jody, what do you think about it? And you're always there, Jody. So appreciate you for being there.
Well, that's what I do. I like it.
All right. All right. Let's get into it. So how did you get started in internet marketing and recruiting, and what inspired you to pursue this field?
Right. So I said, the thing is, we own a recruiting agency, but we're not recruiters. We're internet marketers. That's what we do, marketers. And so much like what you do, Mandy, with getting leads and getting customers, we're doing the same thing, except we're getting candidates. And how we got started with this is, I've been I was, like I said, I worked for the power company for a long time, and then I started a marketing agency. And through that, I had a couple of different coaching programs. And one of those people came to me about 3 years ago, a little over 3 years ago, and said, "Hey, man, I've got this great thing I'm doing recruiting in the trucking industry, but I've oversold it and I'm facing a bunch of refunds. Can you help me figure this out?" So I was like, "Yeah." Then looked at it. I was like, "Here's the problem. You're doing all this manually. You need to put some things in place, some systems in place, and we can probably save most of these refunds you're facing." And we did. And I looked at that and I was like, wow, all this is basically doing the same thing we do for marketing to get customers. So I'm going to go get some trucking companies myself. And so in about 4 weeks time, I went out and find 12 trucking companies, and ranging from 50 trucks to 500. And along the way, my wife, who is my business partner, she reached out to my good friend Tommy Mello, who I think you've had on as a guest, and said, "Hey, Tommy, if you need people, you need to check out what we're doing." Now, she didn't reach out to him to say, "Hey, you should work with us." She reached out to him to just share with him what we were doing.
Right.
He's like, "Dude, come out here. I want to see how this works." So we flew out there, went through the whole process, took over his recruiting, did that for a couple of months, and then he said, "You got to help everybody that I know with this." And that's sort of how we started. And along the way, we've learned some things. And the thing is, right now, it's about, it's an employee's market, right? When it comes to recruiting, it used to be an employer's market. It used to say, you need to have this, this, and this in order to be able to qualify to work for us. And that's still the case, but you got to kind of tell them why they should come work for you now. So it's kind of changed. And that's one of the benefits of having it so that you're really putting your information together like you're marketing to get candidates. And that's really what we did.
Thanks for sharing. And how difficult it is to hire people, because it's a lot going in the industry, home service industry, the top talent, it's very hard to recruit, right? So what overall challenges that you have seen? And I obviously then you got into your business and helping contractors. So what are the major challenges that you saw before starting?
Sure. The biggest thing the thing that kind of separated how we got successful helping home service companies is doing things a little differently than what everyone else is doing, right? If you're doing the same thing everyone else is doing, you don't stand out. You got to stand out and different. And so we help our clients do that, but that's what we do also. And we do that by, instead of just posting jobs on the job boards, which is great. I don't think you should ever stop doing that, because you're going to find some A players out there every now and then. But most of the people that any company wants to hire, no matter what the business is, no matter what field of home services it is, if they're any good, they're already working for someone else. And they might not necessarily be out looking at the job boards, but that does not mean that they're not open to a better opportunity if it comes along.
Yeah.
So how do we go about doing that? Well, the main way to do that is by getting in front of them whenever they're doing what everyone does most of the day, and that's taking their phone, scrolling through social media, right? That's what
Yep.
we do. So instead of just like doing job postings on social media, you need to actually run ads, just like you run ads to get customers. You need to run ads in order to get candidates for employment. Because now you're getting it out there in front of people who may be working somewhere, maybe satisfied, but when they see that you have a better offer, whether that's better pay, whether it's better benefits, whether it's one of our listed that they had a fully stocked break room and got more comments than just about anything else. But it's just
Yeah.
those are the differences.
Right.
Or like when I mentioned Tommy, when they took over Don's Garage door repair there in Colorado, they went in and got them all new vehicles. And the guy's like, man, this changed, revolutionized our world. So having new vehicles, having gas cards, things that are being able to take the truck home and dispatch from home. Those are work-life balance benefits that most employers, most home service companies miss because they're just focused on everybody wants to pay in benefits, which they do, but they also want work-life balance. And what can you do to help them with that? A big thing that it was, in fact, for electricians is having no on-call. I mean, come on, at home service, there's always emergencies, but you can structure it so that you can make it where they're not being called out every weekend. You know, those kind of things start to make a big difference, and that's what helps you stand out. No matter, I mean, running your ads on the job boards, you should be putting that first. And what I tell people is, nobody ever runs an ad that says, we're looking for homeowners that have a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house with a 740 credit score that
Right.
they're built on time and need us to come up at their house.
Yeah.
But it's really how most businesses run their employment ads. We're looking for people with 3 years experience with this certification, willing to work 60 hours a week and every weekend. If you're willing to do that, we may talk to you. That just doesn't work anymore.
Right. That's so brilliant. I love that because if an owner, the comparison I'm thinking, if an owner tried to go do that, which is recruit talent from people that are already employed, it would just be poaching, and they would have to spend a lot of time and energy doing something like that, and they would create bad relationships, and it would be seemingly, unethical to do in a way, even if they're competitors. And on this side of things, it's using smart technology to do it more efficiently, and that person is voluntarily choosing to look
Yeah.
at a different opportunity that's better for them. So that just seems a lot more ethical to me in that way. And it reaches more people as well, and it's voluntary for that technician or whatever job that they're looking for.
Right. And that's the first piece of the equation, is getting their attention. Just as important, just like whenever you get a elite customer's attention, then you have to do what? You have to nurture them. You have to communicate with them. You have to move them through your sales process, right? Sure, you're
Right.
comforted by. You didn't just call the people and immediately they bought a whole new system. You had to go there. You had to communicate with them. You had to follow up with them. You had to do all those things. And that's where a lot of employers, miss it, is they say, oh, well, the person sent the information in and they should follow all these steps. Well, you got to first tell them what the steps are, and then you got to continue to nurture them. You have to
Right.
move them through your process, let them know what it is, but communicate with them every day by
Right.
text,
Right.
email, voice drops, mainly text messaging, because that's communication today. Most
Right.
people would rather hear about something would be a text, because you can do it. I mean, I could get a text message right now, and other than looking away from the camera, you wouldn't even know that I got it. Where if it was a phone call, you would know that I did that.
Yeah,
So
with text messages almost like 100% like open rate, like that's happening. And
they, they have to see it. They don't have to answer it, but they have to see it, right?
right,
So that's
right.
It's
nurturing them and then helping them through the process.
so taking care of those afterwards, right, is like for retention. basically, is like there's recruitment and there's retention. And when it comes to retention, is there any advice that you have about that? What have you seen are the best strategies for people to take? You do an amazing job at, getting these A players for the companies, but what have you seen that has the best retention rate? What kind of practices there?
So one of the things, and I suggest that everyone, I have nothing to gain from saying this other than just advice, and that is everybody who owns a home service company should get and read the book, The Dream Manager.
Dream
And what
manager.
it does is that people come to work for you for their dreams, not for yours. The story is like the guy gets up, the owner gets up and goes, "Hey, we had a great year. Everybody worked really hard, and I was able to buy a new Ferrari. And if everybody comes to work and everybody does that again next year, I can buy another one." Nobody cares.
Mhm.
They care about their dreams, about why they come to work for you. And you don't have to spend a ton of money. It's just helping them identify that, that sharing with them that you want to help them achieve their dreams and helping them to do that. Now, and part of it is that with the culture thing is just a little bit of recognition goes a really long way, especially with the younger generation. A lot of times it's the recognition that means more to them than getting a raise, because they want to know that they're valued and they're used to getting expressed how people value them. You have to continue to do the same thing and not overlook it. And it can be simple. It can be a handwritten note. It can be a text like, "Hey Mandeep, I know that you did this the other day, man, great job. Thanks so much for caring for the company and handling our customers that way." Or when they get a review, making sure that you recognize that they did a great job.
Right.
Anniversaries. Here's something you really want to help submit somebody into your company is find out their anniversary, like the wedding anniversary,
Mm-hmm.
or their wife or their spouse, their children's birthdays, and
Right.
send them on their birthday.
These small things, right? These small things matter to them, and
Wow.
if you show care and you just like acknowledge that, I think that's a great share, Jody.
And
It's
you don't have to.
emotional labor.
Emotion. Yeah.
There you go. Perfect. Sure. Yeah, that's great. Because the thing is, you don't have to send them an extravagant thing. It's just sending them a card. It's something that just shows that you're thinking about them. And just like with the whole Dream Manager program, is you're not giving them extra money to achieve their dreams. You're helping them develop a plan to achieve their.
Yes.
And the story of the Dream Manager, one of the things is the company. It's a company for it's a cleaning company, and they
Mm-hmm.
thought, oh, they assumed what people's dreams would be, and the dream was it was largely a Hispanic community, and they just wanted to be able to, one, speak English better, and two, have transportation because they didn't have good transportation to get to work, and so they were able to put together a bus system in order to bring them to work. So it doesn't have to be something that's going to Italy for a week. It can be anything
Right.
that can help them do that. And I kind of got off on a tangent, but that's the
No,
culture.
that's great advice.
Great
Yeah,
advice.
and it's consistent. That's something that I noticed is like every time I ask somebody this question of a successful person that I ask this question, it's right in line every time. Emotional labor, emotional intelligence, empathy, right? Tommy Mello, Chad Peterman, you, Ken Goodrich, like very consistent answers. So that makes me feel better about it too, because I can tell that they all seem to be doing the same thing. They put a lot of emotional labor into their people, and they see them as humans with a future that
Yeah,
can see their path at that company and feel appreciated on a daily basis instead of just feeling like they're just working for somebody and they're just dumping, like you said, all of their hard-earned work is so that the owner could buy a Ferrari, not so that they can get better health care for their own family through their own performance, which is earned.
yeah.
It's not like a free gift. They're working for it. They're doing
Mhm.
labor. They're literally working, so it's fine.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
and it's the thing is, it's called human capital for a reason. It's not to be
yeah,
valued; it's to
Right.
increase value. It's to show that an asset for your company, and thus you would need to treat them that way and help them feel recognized for the contribution that they provide to your organization.
yeah.
Right.
A struggle I've heard a lot from owners when it comes to recruiting or hiring or getting the right people is they don't exactly know what the red flags are in an interview. When you're evaluating somebody's character and their competence, to do a position. Are there any tips that you have and advice on that?
Sure. And one of the things that we do is that I would suggest that everyone do this is run them through some type of personality profile and assessment, like a DISC profile assessment, so you can kind of
This.
see
Mhm.
what their personality is and what their motivations are. And the other thing is, we do this thing called an automated video interview. And with an automated video interview, no matter, there's a bunch of different ways you can get that done, is it gives you the ability to see what the person looks like, how they communicate, and if it's somebody that you want to take the time to actually interview, so that you can get rid of some of those red flags before you take the time, effort, and energy to schedule time out of your day for them to come into your office so that you can see the red flag.
Right. Jody, you want to just explain more about, like, if you want to elaborate on the automated, like, video, what exactly is that?
Sure. So basically, it's the candidate is sent a link to go to answer 4 or 5 questions.
Okay.
We always do with the same thing. And they can do it on their phone. It doesn't take any of your time. It only takes their time to put in their information and record the videos. It does it automatically with their phone. They don't have to be technically savvy or anything else. It works very simply. The first question pops up and it's, what's your favorite sport? What drives you to win? It's usually what we lead with technicians or installers, because it's an easy question. It's kind of softballish. They can kind of answer easily. And then it goes into, tell me about your experience as a HVAC technician. Then tell me about it. Tell me about your sales experience. What kind of training have you had for sales? I had service MVP with Joe Crosara. You guys, and you can tell by how they communicate. So one of our great clients is Miles Siderak, who's Night Irrigation up in Calgary. He's like, having a video interview. He said, first of all, running the ads on social media, it's like being at a job fair where you're the only booth. He said, when I run ads on Simply Hired or LinkedIn or ZipRecruiter, it's not LinkedIn, but Indeed, it's like I'm at a job fair with 7 other booths. This way, I'm the only booth. And then with the video interview, I get to see what they look like walking towards the booth to decide if I want to talk to them or not.
Exactly.
The time he said, I can tell by the way somebody gets out of their vehicle and walks across the parking lot if it's going to waste my time.
And you can qualify, right? Like, let's say you got like 100 candidates, and I think maybe 10% of them gonna do the video, right? And already you are qualifying, right?
The willingness to do that as well, to do something different to get the job, even just doing the video is showing a little bit more confidence and willingness than most applicants that send in, online applications. They wait for the employer to call them. That's something with a newer generation that I've noticed. That's how I'm really trying to find a job. It's like, that's really what they're doing. They're not putting on a suit and walking in somewhere with a resume or anything like that anymore.
And the thing is, man, you mentioned like a 10% conversion. It's actually much better than that. It's really closer to 50% of the applicants.
50%?
They'll take that step and actually do the video interview. And then, because the thing is just them taking that step. Now, the other thing is, you shouldn't judge a book by its cover, but you kind of can, it's like if, like for instance, you wouldn't hire me to be an HVAC apprentice because I should probably be a shopping mall Santa Claus rather than an apprentice technician. but I would be, you could move me out of the queue just the fact that I'm ancient and you don't want to spend a bunch of time training me before I get my first
Jody.
It's easy to be self-deprecating. I don't have to use other.
Oh my god.
Yeah. And Joe, like, okay, let's go back to like process here. So when it comes to like digital marketing, we run Facebook ads too. It took almost 2-3 years to dial in Facebook ads for leads. Still, we can do a lot of automation, but the thing is that follow up, like, HVAC or home service industry, they have to follow up a lot with the leads to close them. So how, like, what makes your process unique? Because Facebook ads, when it comes to lead generation, it is totally a different game, right? So what do your process makes unique when it comes to Facebook ads?
So let me ask you this, Mandeep. What is the number one complaint that clients have about social media ads?
Like, lead sucks.
Oh, the quality of the leads.
Quality of the leads, and it's hard. They never, even they say customers, they never filled out the form. You know that, right?
Perfect. Bingo, ring, ding, ding. That's $64,000 answer to the question. They don't remember filling out the form.
Right. Right.
So the first thing we do is you gotta wipe that off the slate. You gotta get rid of that. You gotta take that excuse away from them. So what we do is as soon as that lead comes in, it comes into our system, we instantly meaning 5 to 15 seconds after they fill out the form, we're sending them three communications. We're sending them an email, we're sending them a voice drop, an automated voicemail. But the main thing is we're sending them a text message with a picture of the ad. And we're talking to them as a person from the person. So let's say Shreya filled out the thing, it would come in and go, "Hi Shreya, this is Ali with ABC Home Services. We got your information from our Facebook campaign. The next step is to complete a short application. Here's the link. We look forward to hearing from you." But now talking to them as a person from a person, not hi first name, you're using their name, it seems like it's personal, and sending the picture of the ad, and then getting it within 5 to 15 seconds of filling it out, they don't forget they filled out the form.
That
Right.
is
I
so
would fill it
smart.
out right there. That's very true.
Right. I mean, and that's not just for recruiting. I mean, that's if you're running campaigns with Facebook ads, for customers, do the same thing, right? You want to take away the I don't remember filling out the form, and that goes a long way to doing that.
That is so smart to add that picture of that ad and just send it to them as a text, right? As a text.
And the thing
Yeah,
is, it
because it's
doesn't have
visual.
to be, it doesn't even have to be that ad. It can just be a picture of the logo of the company.
Got
Right.
it. Right.
Because you might be running 20 different ads. It's that would be hard programming wise. I'm not that smart whenever it comes to that. So just sending them an average picture of an ad, like for instance, an HVAC technician, something with a logo and an HVAC tech, they're gonna know that they filled that out. So it doesn't have an exact match. But you do want to make sure that everything you're using matches exactly the logo, the fonts, the color, the hex codes, because everyone's looking for something to be a scam, a little bit out of the way. So make sure all those things match whenever you're doing that. But again, even though we send that, now we're down to that less than 10% number you said, Mandeep, because less than 10% of the people will take the step of filling the application out that day. And that's where the majority of people miss the boat, because they say, oh, I sent them a message, they should fill it out. It's about a 7-day nurture sequence. Every day or every other day for about 2 weeks, we're sending them a text message, an email, and every third or fourth day a voice drop encouraging them to go fill out the application. And some people are like, wow, should you really be begging them? It's not begging them, it's nurturing them.
They voluntarily signed up for that notification.
And so then whenever they do that, then we move them over to the next sequence of getting the assessment, doing the skills assessment. And after they do that, we put them into a sequence to get the video interview done. But we do things that are like get their attention. We don't just send them a text message. They each have like a call to action. They have emojis in them. Like we get down like the 4th day, they haven't done the thing. We send them a picture of a pet. We usually say it's like it's a dog or a cat, and it's the mascot of the company. So let's say we have a dog named Mudge. It's like, this is our mascot, Mudge. Every time somebody completes an application, Mudge gets a treat. Go ahead and complete the application, Mudge is counting on you. Whatever, but it's just different, and it interrupts the pattern. It makes it feel like, oh, this company's different. You'll put different pictures along with it, because whenever you get a text message with an image in it, does it cost a little bit more to send it? Of course it does. But is it more effective? Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah, most people are visual, right? They recognize the color, the logo in their subconscious, right? And the emotional branding that they already paid lots of money for. Let's use that, right? The emotional intelligence behind that.
Even go a step further. If they're coming in for an in-person video, with that reminder, send them a picture of the building. So with today with Google Maps or whatever, you can put it in and it's going to take you there. But if you ever go somewhere and it's like, okay, which building is it? So doing that, you're helping them understand your process, because about 80% of businesses feel they do a great job communicating their onboarding process or their hiring process, but less than 40% of candidates feel like companies do a good job of explaining it. So all of these things you're being set with what your hiring process is, being set with what your onboarding process is, making them feel welcome the first day that they get there, goes a long way. But it's mapping all those pieces out and not leaving it to chance. Now I get it. You're busy. You're a home service owner. You're an HR manager for a home service company. You're busy doing the day-to-day things. And we get caught up in trying to just execute and make the customers happy. I don't have time to do these things, but it's really going to pay dividends in the long run to take the time to do that, because now those employees that are coming in, indoctrinated and onboarded into your culture, are going to treat your customers the way you will, and the way you would. So it goes a long way into doing that.
Totally agree.
That's extremely thorough and unique. I see that, and you're filtering it every step of the way to get the quality, the result of the quality higher at the end, right? So personalized, customized example of thoroughness in the process of communication, as you would want them to be as a hire. And then if they get all the way to the end of the process, you have requalified them over and over again, to get just a really solid A player. That makes total sense to me.
Then the one thing is, so people are going to be thinking to themselves, wow, it's just running ads on Facebook. We already do that. Well, do you?
Right.
Most companies do is they do a job posting from their page. And that's not a Facebook ad, right? Boosting a post is not a Facebook ad. It's got a very limited audience. You have to actually make the ad the same way you would make an ad to run for getting customers through your business manager account. And there's a reason why hardly any company, not just home services, but hardly any company does recruitment ads or employment ads on Facebook. Because if you think about it, you spend time on Facebook, how many employment ads do you see? Very, very few. Because it is so hyperly sensitively strict that they're looking for any little thing to be discriminatory. For instance, you can't target. You have to show it to everyone in a geographic area. So, Mandeep, you're sitting in Tampa, right? Or
Tampa.
Tampa. So you have to show it to everyone. Let's say you make it a 30-mile radius. You got to show it to everybody in that 30-mile radius, and you can't target by age, by gender, or even by interest. So you do that. Now, the other thing that's discriminatory is if you ask any questions on the form. All you can really ask for is first name, last name, email, and phone number.
Right.
If you ask for more than that, you're discriminating. We used to be able to target by zip code, but guess what?
Oh, wow.
Targeting by zip codes can be discriminatory, because you can target more impoverished. You can choose not to target more impoverished locations, or
interesting.
So they have taken all of those things away, but that's what most people, they don't tell you what those rules are, right? They just reject ads, and you got to go through this whole thing of figuring it out each step of the way. That's why most companies don't do it, because it's super hard to be able to do. But
they don't have the time and energy. I mean, they're already running the company, and this is very clear. This is a full-time job to be doing this thorough work.
Every day.
How many rejections would you go through before you just give up? Most of the time, that by the second rejection, most people throw their hands up.
Yeah.
Sometimes we have to go through 8 rejections to get an ad to run. That's how sensitive it is.
Oh, wow.
And we know what we're doing, and they still get it. Because the thing is, if they can change the algorithm, it's not that we have to do so. They can be any little thing. You can't use the word commission. You can't use the word motivation. You can't use the word opportunity. They will reject.
There are so many things. So many things.
But for being an MLM, because they do not allow advertising for MLM. Anything like if it's a remote position, like some CSRs are remote, that's a work from home position. It's a scam. Like,
right.
So much for freedom of speech, right?
Right. But the thing is they play platform, and so it doesn't matter how much you pay. I mean, we spend a couple $100,000 a month on Facebook ads, and
that's a lot of money.
We're treated the same way. We're treated the same as everyone else.
A lot of money. And Jody, like I hear this like every single day, like from our clients and from our connections. Those are part of home service industry. It's very hard to hire the top talent. And so as per your experience, like what would be your one piece of advice to the home service industry owners when it comes to hiring top talent or just getting started? Because everyone is busy too, like you said, right? It's like daily hustle and bustle, a lot of things going on. So what is your piece of advice to get started so that they feel comfortable, right? There is another platform as well, like from social media, to hire people, because a lot of people, our listeners, they don't know that there is another platform where we can generate leads, right?
I'm glad you asked that. It's very simple. You have to identify what differentiates you from the competition, because no matter where you're at in this country, there's somebody else in your community that does the same thing as you. And a lot of the times, you're not going to be poaching, you're going to be getting your information from them. But the best source to figure out what differentiates you from your competition?
What's that?
Your existing employees who are happy. Ask them why they work for you. Why do they work for you? And if you happen to have one of these things, which everybody has in their pocket these days, you're like, this. Shreya, tell me, why is it that you love working for ABC Home Services?
I was just gonna say, can you get employee testimonials and use that as ads?
As
though?
ad, that's phenomenal. I think that's a
I
good
can't
point.
believe I've
Gold.
never seen that. That's so brilliant, and I can't believe I've never seen that before.
Because then that doesn't cost you anything. I mean, we all have one of these in our pocket, and the camera on these things is better than the camera I used to spend to charge people 10 grand to do videos
And,
with.
that makes your life easier, right? Like getting all the videos are already there, and you can just run ads with your magic. What do you do,
The
right?
thing is, I mean, and I don't suggest you go right off the bat, Shreya, why do you like working here? You ask a question, then go, hey, you know what? I love that. Can I get a very quick video of you saying that? And most of the time I go, yeah, sure. Unless they're really camera shy. But yeah, it's finding out why they come to work there, because they'll tell you. Because sometimes we get so close to it, we don't see the forest for the trees. But when you ask them why they work there, then they'll tell you something. It's like, I love it because we got new vehicles, and the fact that I know whenever I'm going to be able to get off at 5 o'clock to go to my kids' soccer game. I'm going to be on the weekends. I know I'm not going to get called out every weekend. I don't mind once a month being on a rotation. And the fact that I get to whatever their reasons are, whatever the reason they come to work there, helps you identify those things that you should highlight in your ad, no matter where you're running it.
Amazing.
Advice.
Thank you so much. It's a lot to learn from you. Always, like picking your brain. This is great. Thanks for sharing knowledge and tips and hacks. It's great, right, Shreya? What do you
I
think?
learned a lot. I learned a lot because this is something I was super interested in, this one specifically because I'm interested in it, but I honestly don't know a lot about it. Obviously, not even close to what you guys know. And yeah, that was incredibly interesting, and it helped me realize that there's some things that I could apply myself, to make marketing more personalized and customized, and use emotional intelligence and marketing once again in a different way. So open my mind up to that. I had just one more short question at the very end. I just wanted to ask, what is your most frequently asked question from clients when they're learning about your services?
The most frequently asked question is this going to work? Right.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that's foreign, right? It's a little bit foreign to them. And it's like, it's not as it's going to work. Usually, what can I expect? What kind of results? How soon am I going to be able to hire someone? And I don't have an answer for that, because here's why. Every community is different. Every company is different. Every profile is different. The way ads run in one city versus another, what gets attention in Milwaukee might not be the thing that gets attention in Miami or in Tucson. So what we have to do, I can't give you an estimation of what's going to happen. I can tell you that we put everything together as great as we can to begin with everything looking the way it needs to. And then we make adjustments according to the conversions and what we see happen.
A/B testing, right?
So what I will do tell people is the only time we have ever had an issue is if you're in a location that has it's very sparsely populated, because there, you are having to get it in front. If there's only 100,000 people in a 30-mile radius of where you live, it's going to be tough. How many HVAC technicians or master plumbers are there out of 100,000 people that you're going to do, that you're going to get in touch with? So there's other strategies, but that's the question: is how soon is this going to work? And usually I tell them from the time we get the ads running, it's going to, people got to see these things 2 or 3 or 4 times. I mean, how many times do you see an ad before you click on it? Most people don't click on it the first time. So it takes a
Right.
week.
I need to see it.
It's got to warm up, right? It's a warm up period. It's got to warm up, and then they're going to see it, and then they click on it. So usually after about 2 weeks, you start to see lead flow, and then after about another week, you start to see applications and people going through the process. It's not instantaneous, but there, we monitor that all the way through. And I'll explain to someone if I think it's not a good fit. One of the things we're great for getting employees. I have people that come to me that want to hire subcontractors, and I tell them flat out, we suck at that.
But also, if you're
Love it.
getting quality leads, it's going to take longer because you could, sure, let's do it really fast and just get you anybody, right? Anybody in the door for interviews. But to get the A players and the quality leads and go through the filtering process, it makes sense that it would be, quality over quantity, and it takes some time for that.
Yeah. But that's
Right.
the number one question: is how soon will this work, or will it work?
Makes sense.
Great.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jody. One thing just strike. Like, we're gonna have this like rapid fire. See this rhyme, Shreya and Jody. Rapid fire with rapid hire.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That is awesome. We're gonna dive into this
Meant to
rapid
be.
fire round. And Shreya, you want to explain about rapid fire?
Sure. So what rapid fire is we're going to ask you a series of questions, or Mandeep is today. And okay, to win, just don't plead the fifth. Just answer the questions. That's all, right? So just don't plead the fifth, answer the questions, and then we're going to send you, when you win, because you're a winner, Jody, this gift basket for you and your wife and your family to enjoy together. Okay?
All right. I'll try not to plead this.
You'll
I'm sure
do
you
well.
will.
You're gonna survive for sure. You'll do well. Okay, all right. Are you ready? Let's get started.
Hey, let's go.
Rapid fire with Rapid Hire Pro right here. First question on your screen. What's a book that changed your life?
Think and Grow Rich.
Love
Good
it.
answer.
Love that book, by the way. That's great one. What is your favorite part of your job?
Being able to talk to so many different people, being able to be the person that they talk to who helps them make the decision that they're going to be somebody that we're going to work with.
Nice. What's the best advice you ever gotten?
For what?
What's the best advice you have ever gotten?
Stick to one thing until you're successful with it. That's so hard to do. We get so distracted by so many things. And really, that really comes down to is the lessons that we both know, Mandeep, and that is that the riches are in the niches, right? Stick with one thing and get really, really good at it. Go, instead of going an inch deep and a mile wide, go an inch wide and a mile deep.
Definite purpose.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Love that.
I do have one other thing, if I can add really quick. So you've always heard, if you help enough people get what you want, you can't help get what you want yourself. And I used to have struggle with that, right? I think I forgot that anyway. So my dad, who was not an educated man, but he was a wise man, he said that I can help you with that, son. If you're helping to push someone else uphill, you can't help but get closer to the top yourself. So as long as you're helping other people succeed, you will be successful.
That is wonderful. And it shows, Jody, like, you have been part of different groups, and like 7-figure agency and other agency owners, not just home service. You are helping others too, and it shows. So appreciate what you do here.
Thanks.
Okay.
Am I done? Is there more?
Couple of more, or maybe, yeah, it's a long list. I'm just kidding. 2 more. All right. What is an important habit that you implement in your personal life?
Going to bed early. It's like this one of those things that one of the key things that we have to have for energy is sleep. In my younger days, I was like, oh, I can get by on 6 hours of sleep, but it's going to bed early, but then also getting up early, starting the day before everyone else does, and being able to get a jump start. So in order to be able to get a jump start, you got to go to bed early. And also it helps.
Finally, someone that values sleep.
Yep.
These guys, everyone I know is like, I sleep like 3-4 hours a night. Most of the people I know, and I'm like, oh my
Same here.
gosh.
Same here. 3
You
hours,
too?
4 hours. Like that's my
See?
life. That's my
It's
life.
so common right now. I hear it all the time, everyone I know, and I'm like, how do you not sleep?
No, so I have to have it in order to do that. But but I can use it whenever my waking hours. I'm usually I'm twice as efficient and effective as than most people are by doing that.
Thanks for sharing. This year I'm implementing if I can get like more sleep. I'm working on that. So thanks for sharing for the audience and everyone. Last question, Jody. What is an important habit you implement in your professional life?
Time blocking, having my time blocked on my calendar. You can always tell whenever someone does not have a time management system when you ask them, hey, when can we meet next week? And they're like, oh, what works for you? They don't have a time blocking system. Whenever you ask somebody, you go, what time works for you next week? What day? Wednesday? Okay, right here, I'm looking at my calendar on Wednesday. I can do 10 a.m. or I can do 2:30 or I can do 4 p.m. Which one works? Because my time is blocked. And also I block time for personal things. So when we
Right.
get with this, it's going to be around 3 p.m. Eastern. I have a 4 p.m. tea time at my golf club, at my golf course, right? It's blocked on my calendar. No one can schedule a call with me because it's blocked on my calendar. 3 days a week, I'm going to be at the golf course because I work hard during the other hours. But time blocking, the more structure you have, the more freedom you have.
Right.
Organize your schedule, because people always say, I'm too busy, I don't have time for that, I don't have time. They probably do. They're just not organized with their time, right?
Right. Everyone has time. It's just like time management and being organized. All right. Shreya, what do you think? He's
Oh, he
totally a win.
won.
He won. I'm gonna actually show that one more time. Congratulations, Jody. This is gift
Yay!
from our side. Enjoy this gift basket.
I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Of
All
course.
right.
Thanks for coming on and being so open and answering all our questions, and just letting us get to know you a little bit better, and
My
having
pleasure.
amazing advice for everybody, for me
Yeah.
to implement today. I appreciate that.
Right. And thank you for sharing all those like insights. Like, it's definitely going to help like our listeners, home service industry owners. One last question, how people can reach you? What's the best platform to reach you?
Sure. It's very simple. Just our website. It's rapidhirepro.com. And people there's a little button. You can see the testimonials. We've got a couple dozen testimonials, whatever. And you go there. There's a little green button in the upper right hand corner. Our colors are blue and green. If you couldn't guess that, but there's a green button and stand for go. You click on that. You go schedule a call, and the person you're scheduling the call with is me. And I don't do sales calls. I don't believe in it
Okay.
because selling you anything, because I don't know enough about your business to sell you anything. I wouldn't sell anybody anything anyway. I'm going to understand a little bit about your business so I can make recommendations of what you should do based on your specific circumstances. And then if you choose to want some help with it, great. I record every call and I send a link to the recording to every person that I do a call with so they can take it and implement the things themselves if they choose to. I
Love
find
it.
the more I get it.
Love it. Thank you.
That's
Thank
awesome
you.
service.
And thank you for the listeners, thank you for tuning in, watching and listening to the Home Service podcast. And I hope it was insightful. We will see you on the next one.